Really? How are you guys? I am so excited to be here tonight. What I'm going to do is you guys can hear me clearly, right? If you can hear
Yes.
me, that's good. You can see me as well. Okay, before I get started, I'm going to say thank you so much for having me once again here on this platform. I had a ball the last time. It was amazing. I mean, we had such a great time, right, Rodrigo? We had such a great time the last time during the last program in the last conference during the past summer in 2020. It was amazing. There are a lot of people who were participating, and we had so many people from all over the world. And today again, we're here. Today is I'm actually in the US. It's Monday night here, and it's February 1st. I know for some of you guys, you guys are already on Tuesday, the February the 2nd. That's funny, right?
Yes.
Um, I know, but we're gonna get started right away. I'm gonna let you know. You're gonna let me know if you see my screen, okay? I'm gonna give it a try. You let me know if you see my screen, and you tell me what you see on my screen. 1 second, please. Okay. Okay. Rodrigo, do you guys see my screen?
Yes, you can make a difference, but you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Yeah.
Yes. If you guys can see my screen, that's excellent. That's what I wanted. 1 second, please. I'm gonna make sure I can click from here. Okay, guys, I think we're ready. Guys, for those of you who do not know me, I'm actually I'm a career coach, and what it means simply, I mean, people, people when people think about career coaching, they think about um, how we prepare people for the interview or job for the job. They think about how we prepare people for their resume and all that stuff. I mean, everything that we're supposed to do to make people look good before an interview for a job. I believe in all that, but I also believe in in helping people shorten their learning curve. I am an entrepreneur, and I'm a I love to teach people what it takes to become you know very stable and solid when it comes to uh, anything in their professional career. So that's the reason why I was excited when they called me once again. And I know you guys have such great talent, and you have so much thing you have so many things to offer to this world, and you want to make a difference. That's the reason why I chose this topic for you guys, and we're gonna get started. Okay, so with that being said, I hope you guys can you see my screen still? One,
Yes.
yeah, I'm trying to go to the 1 second, please. It seems like I'm having an issue right here. Okay, good. You can see it, right? 1 second, I'm having some background noise here. Give me a second, right? Yeah. The sound is better, right? That's
Yep.
awesome. Okay, guys, I'm ready for you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm excited. You see, when I was preparing this training for you, I went online and I saw this map, and I got excited about this map because it shows so many things. It shows all the countries where you guys are and we are. I mean, it shows the entire Earth, and it shows the all the backgrounds and the different origins and backgrounds and cultures and the races and everything. So I was excited because the training that I prepared for you tonight is about leadership. So we're going to talk about how you guys can make a difference and how you can have people um, leading with you. Okay, and right here, like I said, I'm right here in the U.S. and I know some of you guys are everywhere in the world. And what I love about this map as well is the fact that it shows that no matter your race, your background, your culture, your nationality, there are
things about leadership, there are principles about leadership that are actually the same no matter where you are in the world. Okay, so we're going to talk about them right now. So I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to pretend that I know you. Okay, and I mean, I don't know you. I've never met you before, but I think I know about you. I think I know something about you, and those things that I know about you, I think I know them because you guys are here today. I mean, this conference is in international conference, right? And I'm pretty sure that there are so many people who have been invited, but they didn't show up. And there are so many people who wanted to be here, but unfortunately they couldn't. It actually immediately it brings me to the conclusion that you guys are very unique. Okay, you're special. So I know you are very young. You're young. You're vibrant. You're intelligent people. You're very passionate about the things that you care about. Definitely, right? That's why you're here. You want to make a difference in the world, and sometimes I'm pretty sure that you feel a little bit like your hands are tied up, right? That you feel maybe restrained. And also, there's one thing that I want to say, and I know you're going to agree with me on this one, right? I know some of you sometimes look at adults like people like us, and you're like, oh my goodness, those people drop the ball, right? And I know what you're thinking, and I want to tell you why I'm very confident about this statement. It's just that I was a young person like you before. I'm still young, okay? I'm very young, but I was your age before, okay? And right now I have two kids. My son is 17, my daughter is 13, and this is the language that they have all the time. Very often they say things like, "Oh my gosh, these adults, I cannot wait to become an adult because I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that." And I know you guys have that same hunger in you. I know that for sure. And that's the reason why I'm going to give you some information that's going to help you do it the right way. Because listen to me, I promise you this. If you don't know what to do and how to do it, unfortunately, you're going to end up becoming like the adult like that you criticize today. Okay, because a lot of people are out there, older people who are, I'm telling you guys, you guys are so intelligent, you're so bright, and you actually have so much to offer, and you're smarter than so many adults that I know, so let's go. I'm going to show you some images, okay? And I need you to pay attention. I need you to pay close attention to these images. um, I just found them on the internet, and I need you to pay attention, okay? If it stirs some type of emotions in your heart, then you can definitely write down. If you can actually write down what you feel right at this moment, okay? Let's get started with this first image. So take a look at your screen, okay? Take a look at your screen, guys. Take a look at this screen. This is a patient with COVID, okay? How does it make you feel to see someone struggling with this disease that is driving people crazy in the entire world? So that's the first question that I have for you. Just think about it, okay? You don't have to answer right now. You don't have to. You can actually chat. I'm going to give you a chance to type either on your laptop or something like that, or on the chat room, or you can write down on a document you have next to you. So after this image, pay attention to this one. Take a look at this kid. It's a beautiful girl. It seems like it's a beautiful girl, but she has that signal that says, I'm hungry. Now, the next image is an image of a kid. He doesn't even need to have a sign, but his body himself itself shows um, how how poor maybe, or how struggling life can, how sad he might be right now, right? So there's another image right here that I'm going to show you. um you see, obviously, I'm not sure who this man is, but obviously this woman is afraid because this is a case of domestic violence, right? And here is another image, but in this case it's a it's a woman who is hurting a man. Now, how does it make you feel when you look at those images? Now, the next picture is this little girl who obviously she's been abused, and she has that sign that says, if you tell something, if you just say something, maybe the person is going to kill her. You never know, right? And then look at this image as well, and then this one. Obviously this man is trying to get to the stairs, but he can't. And this last image is something that has been in the internet these recently, and that's one of the images that really hurt my heart a lot. It's like an officer pointing a gun at a baby, right? So I just want you to pay attention to those images, and what comes to your mind immediately. I just wanted you to think about it a little bit, okay? How does it make you feel to see those images? How does it make you feel to see those images? Now, let's move on. What is your first reaction when you see things like that that are happening in the world? I mean, these are just a few things. There's so many things going on in this world where we are, and like I said, either you are here in the U.S. with me, or you are in Europe, or you are in Africa, or you are in South America. There's so much stuff going on in the world, and I'm pretty sure that you are not. I'm pretty sure that you see and it says something to you, right? Now, what is the first reaction? Now, the reaction that you can have, people react differently based on their culture, their background, or maybe the way they see life. But at the end of the day, we are all humans, right? Now, pay attention. Some people, when they see things like that, they just don't care. I want to believe that I'm pretty sure that you guys are not those type of people who say, yeah, I don't care about these things just because it doesn't concern me, or maybe who are, a lot of people are just indifferent, right? I'm pretty sure that you are not those type of people because you are here tonight, right? Now, imagine that it makes you feel sad. Some people feel really sad when they see those things, and or maybe some people become angry. Now, it's not enough to be sad and angry. It's not enough, right? um what do you do when that happens? Some people are going to go ahead and have a conversation with other people, maybe just to share their anger or their sadness. Or some people go ahead and just lash out on social media or whatever. I mean, what I don't recommend often, because sometimes you can get yourself in trouble. But what I'm looking for tonight are the people who, when they see something that is not, who that when they see that when they see things that are done in the world to the weak, for example, they want to do something. I'm looking for those who are ready to take action. Okay. Now, if you want to take action, let's move forward. There is something that we say in French. We say in French, si je ne savais et si vieux pouvait. All it means is this. It means, you see, young people have, like I said, you guys are vibrant. You are, I mean, all of us, we're young, right? We're still young, we're vibrant, we have that strength in us. But if we're not careful, we can let the time go and pass us by, so that, and we're going to waste time. And we don't want that, right? I'm going to show you two images here. I'm not judging, okay? But I'm just going to show you something. Take a look at these two images. Here on the right, you have this man right here. He is obviously already toward the end, correct? And here you see these people who are they're just having a ball. They have so much fun. There's nothing wrong. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with having fun. But my point here is, in order for you to change the world, in order for you to do what you have to do, in order for you to make a difference in the world we live in, and I'm not talking about making a difference like at a big scale. Like, you don't have to be like I don't know, like those president of the. I mean, of course you can be, but I'm saying you can actually make a difference just even in your city, even in your village, or even in your country. In order for you to be able to do it, you're gonna need you're actually going to need strength and wisdom. And the strength that you're going to need is going to, no, I'm sorry, the strength, you already have it. The intelligence, you already have it. What you're going to need is the wisdom. And so much, I mean, so many of you are already wise beyond your age, but there's some type of knowledge that you're going to need to acquire around, from not only from conferences like this one, or from the people around you. Okay. And that's the reason why we're here now. What does it mean, making a difference? What are you going to need to know if you really want to make a huge impact either in your neighborhood or in your city or in your country or even in the entire world, you have to be able to answer these three questions. And the first question will be, why do you want to do what you want to do? And why should anyone care? Okay, that's a very important question. And and I know I'm going a little bit fast because we have a certain time, but the good thing is this conference is recorded. So I'm going to plead with you right now because I'm going to give you a lot of information. I'm going to give you a lot of information, and I need you, if you can later on, you can come back and listen again, okay? Because this is definitely going to change you. It's going to listen. And as a matter of fact, before I continue, I hesitated a little bit before giving you this topic because I felt like this is a training that I give to adults. But in the meantime, I know you can handle this. I know you can have this. I know you guys are hungry and you have so much to offer to this world. And I don't want you guys to wait until you hit your 40s and like us to learn these things. But the sooner you know all those principles, the early you know about them, and the better you can use it to change your life and the people around you. You understand where my point, right? So, like I said, let me go back to this. It was important that I talk about this. So, number one, you got to know why you want to make a difference. Okay, write this down. Now, the next thing you have to know is how. How do you want to go about it? You're going to have to plan this. Okay. Like I said earlier, if you do not make a plan, the right plan, you're going to end up becoming exactly like the adults that you criticize because you know that there are so many people in leadership, so many adults like in their 50s, 60s, 70s they're not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be there, and you know it, and nobody told you that. Because you guys are smart. You know what is right to do because we all have that inside of us. You guys know that. But unfortunately, if you don't know how to do it the right way, guess what? Adults are going to think you guys are stupid. They're going to think that you're just too young, you don't know what you're talking about. Have you heard that before? Sometimes someone like a young person, maybe a 17, maybe 20 years old, maybe 25 years old, young adults gets up and he wants to do something, and some adults are like, yeah, you were just born yesterday, you don't even know what you're talking about, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. I want to make sure that you guys are ready. Okay, you're gonna, but by the time you get started with whatever you want to do, you're gonna knock it out, and you're gonna work so hard, and you're gonna be efficient. And you're not gonna have any adults talking down on you and tell you that you don't know what you're talking about because you're gonna be ready. Okay, so think about it. So the next thing you guys have to know is what are the results you expect to see? What is the desired outcome? What are you looking for? What do you want to see accomplished when you think about making a difference? Okay, let's move on. Now, the last seminar we talked about adding value. It is so important, guys. I mean, if you didn't have a chance to listen to that training, somehow find it, maybe we're gonna find a link for you guys, or maybe you can
You
go
have it.
back. You guys have it, right? Yes, go back and listen to that training because it's definitely gonna help you a lot understand. It's adding value is everything. Whatever we do, like right now, all the whole point of this conference is actually adding value to your life because the knowledge and the transfer of knowledge, it's adding value. Okay, so let's go ahead. You can only make difference by adding value. Remember that. Okay, um you add value by using your talents and your gift effectively to serve people. Remember this. Whatever you want to do, think about it this way. Am I serving people? You're not going to be there. You're not gonna do things because you want to take advantage of people. No. Whatever you have to do, think about it this way. What can I do to serve other people? Okay. And the last thing you have to understand is you cannot serve other people if you don't even believe that you have something to offer. Now, belief is everything. We're gonna talk about belief real quick, okay? Now, when I ask people, okay, do you really believe you have something to offer to the world? They're like, oh yes, I know, I believe I can, I can. This is great. But hold on, okay? Don't move too fast because when I'm when I'm gonna ask you those questions, I just want to make sure I'm gonna ask you some tough questions so that you're gonna go from this point and you're gonna you're going to figure out if you really believe in what you say you believe and if you are ready to take on the big task. Okay, let's go. Who are you? This is something you have to think about. Who are you and what are your values and what are your principles? This is extremely important. You got to figure it out. Okay, again, I say you're going to have to go back for just for this part, go back and listen and do this exercise when you can. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to ask you this question, and this is critical. Can you follow yourself? Can you follow yourself, guys? What are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to invest your time and your energy or your money in? Okay, what are you willing to are you willing to suffer or sacrifice for what you truly believe? These are some questions that you're going to have to answer once you start working on whatever you decide to work on, right? Do you believe in your ability to change things? If yes, let's go. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to give you a big warning because there are some people out there. Trust me, guys. I've been there and I'm still here. I'm still at that level. I'm still at that level, and you will never avoid those people. We call them the dream stealers. The minute you say something, you say, okay, this is what I'm planning to do. I'm gonna do this. Going to do this. The first second they hear it, they're like, who told you that? So those type of people, you got to be really, really, really careful. And as a matter of fact, this is the way I deal with them. I'm going to say, don't even share your dreams with just anybody. As a matter of fact, at this point, when you're still, you know, I showed you some images, and like I said, it's not only that's not the only issues we have in this world, right? You have so many things that you've been dreaming about. You want to make a contribution to the world. Don't share. Listen to me. Do not share your dreams with just anybody, or just don't even share at all. Maybe your parents, maybe your parents, because your parents can definitely lead you and help you. But if you really strongly believe that the people around you are not going to believe and they're going to shut you down, just don't do it. Because here's the problem. The problem is what you see, not everybody sees it. Okay? Not everybody sees it. And if they don't see it, they're going to use their negative language to shut you down and they're going to steal your dream. They're going to steal the energy that you have. And this is the type of language that they usually have. Have you heard that type of thing? Like you say you're going to do something and someone says, who do you think you are? That would never happen. That's what they say, right? I'm going to give you something else. Someone can say to you, oh, come on, this is not, you're not even from the right family. You don't have money, so you cannot do that. You have no connections. I mean, nobody can help you. Who, for what? You can't do that. You have the wrong skin color. You heard that type of craziness before? I heard that so many times. um no one will listen to you because you are a man, or maybe because you're a woman, or because you're too young, or because you do this, and all the type of things. Like, that's the reason why you have to be really careful. And if you're not careful, they're gonna if trust me, guys, if you are not careful and you start telling people too early about what you have to, you start to share the things you want to say too early with people. They're going to use their negative language, and this is going to affect you. I'm telling you guys, you can never be too strong for negativity. You have to stay away, literally, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to start being negative, and that negativity is going to come, and you're going to start hiding from what you're supposed to be doing, and that's not okay. Okay, so really be careful. Let's move on. Stand and lead. I'm going to I chose this man. We all know him, right? And we can all learn from this amazing, amazing man, Nelson Mandela. We call him Madiba, right? Madiba. I chose these three pictures on purpose. The first one here is before he went to prison, and this is while he was in prison, and this is after. Wow, that's a journey. And you know how long he stayed in this place, in this prison. 27 years, right? That's a long, long time. And the reason why he refused, I mean, even when they wanted to free him, he said no because he believed in something. And he was like, I'm not gonna leave this place until you guys give me what I wanted, what I want. Period. That's how that's how strong his belief was, right? So, and this is the type of leadership we need, right? And I know you guys have that inside of you. And I'm going to tell you right now why this type of strong leadership is extremely important. The right leadership, the right leadership, listen, nothing happens without leadership. I'm not sure if you understand this, but nothing happens until someone stands up and say, you know what, this is enough. I'm tired of this thing. I want to see a change. So I'm going to be a part of the change. Nothing happens without leadership. Nothing changes without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership. Okay. Nothing improves without leadership. And nothing is corrected without leadership, guys. Okay. So am I moving too fast? I hope I'm not moving too fast.
I think the
I'm not
speed is
moving.
good.
Okay, good, good, good. I'm not moving. Okay, good. So nothing happens without leadership. Okay. Now, who is a leader? This is just how can I say that? This is the definition that I found from the dictionary, right? But this is what I would say. There are some characteristics of a leader that I know you already you can you saw them already in leaders. There's so many great leaders. I mean, I chose first Nelson Mandela, and now I have Martin Luther King. Not to say that these are the only leaders on earth right now. There's so many great leaders. Even some of maybe some of your teachers at school. Maybe there's so many people. You don't have to do something at that level to be considered a great leader. So you guys have to understand that, right? But there are some characteristics. True leaders have purpose, vision, passion, compassion, guys. Compassion. If you don't love people, you cannot lead them. You're going to hurt them instead. If you do not love people, you're going to hurt them instead of helping them. And remember, if we have to go back a little bit, remember, if you want to lead, if you want to make a change, you have to remember that you're not here to take advantage of people. You're here to serve them. Okay. And also we're going to talk about integrity. I'm not going to go into details, but these are some, I mean, there are so many great other characteristics, but I'm going to stick to these. Okay. I'm going to stick with these. Now, let's talk about the knowledge, the things that you're going to need. Remember, the title of this talk is You Can Make a Difference, but you cannot do it alone. You're going to need some help, guys. You're definitely going to need a lot of help. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the things that you're going to need, you can do for yourself, because it's going to require that you learn some things. Maybe, just maybe, you're gonna have to learn new skills. Maybe you're gonna have to read a lot of books. And when I'm talking about reading books, I'm talking about the right books. I'm not talking about just a magazine here and there that shows, just don't waste your time, guys. Okay. I understand sometimes, take some time to have fun. I understand. But when it comes to time for learning, for your purpose, you have to pick and choose the things that you're reading, because that's how you nurture your mind. That's how you get the information that you need. Okay. You please it's okay to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's how we learn. Okay. And you might need a mentor. And the reason why I'm talking about a mentor here is because depending on what you're trying to accomplish, there think about it this way: there is someone somewhere who already did either what you're trying to do, or who did what something that is very similar. So what you can do is do some research. What you're trying to accomplish in life, do some research, think about it deeply, just really think and see who can you find that already has done what you're trying to accomplish, or something like that. And if you do not have access to that person, guess what? Usually people write books. So write I'm telling you guys, buy their books and read them, or just, and again, when I want to talk about this conference again, we are here at this conference, and you're hearing from so many leader from so many leaders, and from people who are bringing their knowledge. That's how you learn. Okay. It's kind of like it's a type of mentorship as well, right? Now, like I said, you need some knowledge, but now you need people. You're going to need some human beings to lead, because sometimes I hear people say, I'm there is a way. People have some crazy language. They say things like I did this by myself, or there's no such a thing as success alone. You cannot succeed at anything by yourself. Okay, remember this. You're gonna need some people, but this is what I would recommend you to do. Once you start working on anything that you want to do, you gotta start by being about it by yourself. Like just try, give it a try, do it. Okay, do just a little bit. You do what you see. You know everything that you want to see people do it, because I'm telling you guys, this is what I've noticed. Okay, even with my kids at home, I can scream, shout, and everything. I say, this is what I need you to do, this is what I need you to do. They're not going to hear me until they start seeing me do it, and now they do it. It's funny. We are human beings, and we imitate each other. Have you ever seen that? That's actually one of the reasons why sometimes I'm afraid of social media, because people are going to sometimes you guys are going to see people do something on social media, and just because they do it and you think it's the right thing to do, and you copy them. That's why I'm saying use it as at your advantage. That's how we are. Start by doing, and then trust me, when you start, when you started to when you're done with the small parts, then you can start sharing. Remember I was talking about at the beginning, I said do not share what you're about to do with naysayers and negative people. But once you're done a little bit, you have to start sharing. I'm going to tell you why I'm giving you the permission to share at this moment. Just because it's funny how when you start working on the project and you start sharing a little bit with some people, that's how you find out who who has the same idea and who wants to join you in whatever you're doing. It's just like Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. When he said I have a dream, he actually shared what he believed, and those who believed the same thing that he believed in had to join him and come and start working with him on that project. So I hope it makes sense. Okay, so that's what you do. You do a little bit, and then you share, and then you do and you share, and that's how you're going to start working. You see, I've seen people who start with a project just like alone, and they find out having discussing that with a few people, and then finally they have an army of people behind them, just because they decided to stick to their vision. Okay, stick to the vision. Now pay attention, guys. I need you to break the cycle. And this is the cycle I'm going to talk about. Once you define the vision, once you define the purpose of your work, once you define what is your goal, what is the thing you want to see happening in the world, there's so many things that you're going to have to eliminate. And the reason why I was talking about the belief part is because that belief has to be strong enough to hold you when time will be bad. Okay, that's the only thing you have, the strong belief in what you want to see accomplished, right? And your vision will decide your future. Your vision is going to decide the type of friend that you're going to have. I'm telling you guys, it's happening for everybody. Your vision is going to decide the type of book you read, the type of books you read, how you use your time, how you use your energy. Okay, and what are your priorities, what you watch, like what type of books you read, and what type of movies you watch, and what are your hobby. I mean, your vision is going to narrow everything, because I promise you, when you have a strong vision and you're trying to accomplish it, there is you really don't have time for madness that much. Like you find yourself being attracted to exactly what you want to do. And here is this, look at this, all those fake friends and everything. Trust me, they're gonna run away. Either they're gonna run away, or you're gonna have to let them go. Okay, your vision is gonna choose the language that you choose, because I'm telling you guys, if you please don't be afraid of your friends. I'm just talking to you guys right now. Okay, from my heart, do not be afraid of your friends, of friends who believe that you think like an adult, or you think like you're too smart, or you think like, no, don't do that. Don't be afraid. Okay, now you're gonna have to to pick and choose what what you look, well, I mean, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to pick and choose the things that you watch on social media, because sometimes it can be depressing. And if you are depressed, unfortunately you cannot do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Your vision is going to choose even the food that you're eating, because listen guys, I talk about this a lot every single time I talk to anybody about purpose and vision. It's hard for me not to talk about your health, because you can have those big goals and your big dreams, but unfortunately if you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to do it. You can't. You can imagine, if you don't control your health, you can find yourself with a heart attack, or it's just listen, think about the things, the vision you have for your life and your future, and whatever, all the contributions that you want to make in the world. You have to think about, okay, whenever I eat this, is it going to allow me to have the strength, the energy, and the health that I need to move forward and get that done? Okay, so it's very important. Your vision is going to pick your friend, right? Let's move forward. Remember this, guys. People do not buy what you do. Okay. They're not going to buy whatever you do. They're going to buy the reason why you do what you do. That's the reason why I told you before. I told you you're going to need what to achieve your goals. You're going to you're going to have to define why you're doing it, how you're going to go about it, and the outcome that you're looking for, right? So this is extremely important. Now, I need you to you don't have to write down anymore. I mean, I'm not sure if you were writing down something, but I need you to, I have a question for you. Today is February 1st, right? Of course, because I'm here in the US, and I know for those of you who are in Asia, it is you guys are already in February 2nd at this hour, right? But let's say today is February 1st, 2021. I have a few questions for you. Think about this. What is your name? I need you to take time to, maybe if you have a pen and a pad, write down the answer. Okay? Write down your name. You can actually write, my name is. You don't have to share this information with anybody, okay? Just write it. My name is, you write it down. I need you to write your age. How old are you? Okay? Write down your age. Okay? And then you write down, today is the 1st of February, right? Can you imagine 100 years from now? 100 years from now, if you're lucky, I'm not saying 100 years from today, if you're lucky, your children will still be alive. That's how crazy it is, right? 100 years, not a long time. But I can put my hand on I don't know how to say it, like to say, I can actually say, if you're lucky, if you lucky, then you your children will still be on this earth. What do you want to what do you want people to say about you when you're no longer here, when you're gone? These are some questions that I believe are going to guide you. I remember asking this question. I was last year at this moment, I was doing a training with some young people in a college, in an early college. And I remember asking this question right at the beginning, and there was a young guy. He's actually about his 20s, but it's so funny how he said, I don't even think about the legacy right now because I'm not there yet. And I'm like, wait a minute. You are in your 20s and you don't think about your legacy yet. I understand. And I'm thinking, I almost didn't want to ask you this question today, because I felt like, oh my, I know here we have people who are 13 years old, we have some 15 years old, we have some 24 years old. And I'm thinking in my mind, isn't that question premature? But in the meantime, it's not, guys. And I'm going to tell you why it's not. Because I know if you are on this call right now, if you are listening to this conference, if you had the desire to be here, it's because you want to make a difference in the world. Because you have in your heart, that's maybe in your mind or in your heart, that little thing, something that is driving you crazy. You have some ideas, you want to do something. Whenever you see things that are not going on the right way in this world, you want to do something. That's the reason why this question is important. And the reason why I'm asking you this question this early is because I want you to, again, do the things the right way. I want you guys not to, there are different ways to do things in life, to learn in life. Either you're going to learn from your own mistakes or you're going to learn from other people's mistakes. There are sometimes it's good to learn from your mistakes, and that's fine for things that are not too serious. But if you can learn from other people's mistakes, which means the adults that sometimes you feel like they dropped the ball, if you can learn from their mistake, if you can observe around you and look at what the adults do that you don't like and correct it, we're gonna have, guys, I trust that you guys are gonna be the best leaders of tomorrow. And that's the reason why. And I believe in you guys so much. I believe in you so much. That's the reason why I chose to ask you this question now, because I know if you can answer this question early, the sooner the better. Okay. With that being said, thank you so much. I think we're done. We're done. And Mr. Gijoka, I'm done. And if they have any questions, I'm here.
I would like, first of all, to again to thank you very much for this brilliant expose coming from the heart. And I remember when you called me after you were contacted by the young people that I said, I'm just like you, right? They are running the show. So
that is correct. I'm so proud of them. They are
they tell me
so,
what to do, they tell
oh
me
my
what to do.
gosh.
And I'm very proud of that team. And I'm so happy your message is in line with that way of looking, thinking. We have folks like, remember all of them, Irely, Rodrigo, and you know, Santiago, all of them, they are here and they're actually the one making this happen. And I'm so thankful. So I think there'll
Wow.
be time for some few Q&A. I'll turn over to Rodrigo. Rodrigo, are you there?
Yes, Guy. I'm
Okay, so
here.
yeah, you guys are running the show. So you go ahead and take over.
Also, thank you so much, Miss Lucy, for your amazing conference. It was
My
really good,
pleasure.
and I think that everybody here, all the delegates, will use all the knowledge that you bring to us at this night. So we have a small time for Q&A. We're a little we're on the time. So anybody who has a question, please can raise your hand in the Zoom settings and can make the questions. Okay. First we have Frankin. Oh, he lowered her hand. Okay. So Laura Suarez, go ahead.
Thank you for recognizing me. First, I would like to say that I think I saw your book somewhere earlier, and then I saw it at the end of the presentation. I was, oh my God, I've seen that book. That's so nice. So I think you're very awesome, and thank you for giving us this talk. And I would like
Laura,
to,
yeah,
yes.
please go ahead and introduce yourself, the country you're coming
Okay,
from, your
yes.
age, the country
Thank
and
you.
age. So that's why
I'm
you
so
had the sense of
sorry.
it. It's okay. No,
That's
go ahead.
okay.
My name is Laura Suarez Naranjo. And
Mhm.
I'm 17 and I'm from Colombia.
Oh,
Um, I'm actually Secretary General for my school's MUN. So,
okay.
I try to help like the kids that are under me and they're part of my team to, be better and inspire more kids to get into the team. And I wanted to ask you if it's okay if I share some of the reflections that you shared with us today with them. I took some
Absolutely.
screenshots to take notes later, so I was
Mhm.
going to ask you if it's okay if I share it with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. I
No
think
problem.
it was very inspiring.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for being here. you have another question?
Yeah,
Another question?
we have three more people that are raising their hands. So we have now Innocent Effiong. Innocent, are you there?
Innocent.
Okay, looks like he's free. I think so. We're gonna keep going with Aisan Jami. Sorry if I spelled wrong your name. Aisan, are you
No
there?
problem.
Who is
Just connecting to audio.
next question?
Aisan, do you want to make a
Yeah.
question?
Oh, okay. I guess you hear me. Well, in our life, sometimes we want to do something that for starting to do that thing, we need others' help.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes we want to help other people, and we believe that if we just let that person grow, we can understand that person. My question is how we can find the people that can help us. Um, I mean, without in the first level, and how we can show other people that we can help them too.
Okay, it depends on the project. So, what do you can you be a little bit more specific? Do you have a project that you want to work on, and just give me an example because it depends on what you want to do exactly. Okay, do you have? Can you give me an example?
For example, I want to do research. I don't know, for example, anything about research. I need a person to
Mm-hmm.
train me, and I need a person to let me enter into research world. So, how can I find that person?
Okay. First of all, the good thing, the good news about research and mentoring and everything is that there are a lot of there's a lot of information online right now as we speak. Okay, if you want to do research in, it depends on the topic. For example, let's say you want to go to maybe to university or maybe to college. Is that, is that a good example? Okay, I'm going to assume. Okay, let's say you want to go to college and then you need someone to to um to mentor you, and you want to have access to that person. The first thing, this is this is very key about mentorship. The first thing you have to do is, can you do some research about that person? Imagine you are maybe in a university or maybe in a college, and you want to work with maybe a professor or whatever, something like that, or maybe one of the leaders in the school. What you can do is you can start doing some research about the person. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you come and ask for help to someone and you don't even know that, you don't know anything about them, in like at least the minimum, they're gonna feel like you didn't even do your homework. Okay, that's just your homework. So what you want to do is, if I want someone to mentor me, I will go, maybe usually leaders have either their website or their, maybe on the university's website, you can find enough information about them. And I'm going to tell you why you have to find that information, because leaders usually they already give a lot of information for free, or for just for the public to see. Once you go over there, maybe you can find what you're looking for already, just by looking at their website, just by looking at their um you know st- the university websites, things like that. Once you're done, if it's not enough, now you can contact them by sending them an email. You can introduce yourself. You can introduce yourself and say something like, hey, you can introduce yourself very, very, very professionally and say, my name is, this, for example, me, I'm going to say something like, my name is Lucy Matsuaka. I admire you. I have a lot of respect for the work that you're doing, maybe here in this college or here in this university. And I would love to have a chance to work with you or to assist you. And when you're looking for a mentor, always put it in a sense, like always put it this way: I want to come and assist you, because you always have to give them something in return, because they're busy. These are busy people. Maybe they have a lot of things to do here and there, and if they allow you in their presence, you're gonna learn a lot just by being there, just by helping them doing this or that. So that's how you can approach that. In my experience, I've done that personally a few times and it worked. And there are some people who approached me in the past, and if I actually, of course, I didn't accept everybody, but the only reason why I even accepted the few people that I had with me was because I was extremely busy, and they were offering to help, by doing something in return. You understand that, right? And so that's you always have to come with, okay, what can, if you can allow me to be with you and learn from you, what can I know, how can I help you advance your work, for example. And I'm telling you, if they have time, like I said, for me, anytime I said no to that type of request, it's not because I didn't want to do it. It's just because maybe I was just too busy and I couldn't focus on other people. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
No
And your
problem.
Aisen, can you
information
tell
is
us
very
your
great.
city and your age?
Um, uh, my age, I am 13 years old and I'm from Iran.
Oh
Okay,
my
thank you.
goodness. So you are in Iran right now and you are
Yeah,
13.
yes.
Oh my God. Guys,
This is
listen,
very little.
can I just say something to you guys? I'm so impressed. I wish I was like you guys when I was 13. Oh my gosh. You killing me here. I feel like next time I have to learn from you. You are no, they are excellent.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
definitely.
This is amazing. Okay,
Yes.
next question.
Good. No, I wanted to add something to what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
Lucy, because I think it's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first intern we ever had at UNESCO Center for Peace was 11 years old girl. Okay.
Wow.
And she applied and she rang the bell so many times. And one day her mom called me and tried to set a meeting. In my head, I said I didn't have time to babysit. The mother said, just take a moment and talk to her so that to leave her confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I set up the appointment, it was just to make her not feel bad and reconfort her, because actually I didn't have time. Like Lucy said, sometimes we don't have time. But I'm telling you, after I talked to that girl, I find time for her to be part of the team.
Wow.
Suki became an intern and she was a valuable member of the UNESCO Center for Peace. I'm just telling you, just to reinforce whatever Lucy said.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in there, bring the best you can be, or you never know.
Yes.
That's a very, very important advice she's giving you. And that's what I wanted to add to that. Thank you, Lucy.
No problem. That's good. Next question.
Thank you, Miss Lucy. We're running out of time, but we have space for
Oh.
one more question, the last one. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call Frank King. I know that you want to talk.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm gonna ask a question. It's like, that I'm really impressed in your talk of leadership. So I'm gonna ask a question that when sometimes our dreams or project failed, very tragically or something like that, and how we supposed to get up if we, that project or your dream fail and you lose like beliefs of a friend. So what are we gonna do? Supposed to find courage and supposed to get up.
Wow. How old are you? Is that Frank? Frank.
Yeah,
Frank. Okay. Where are you? Are you in which country are you in?
I'm in China.
You in China. I love your question. I will tell you why I love your question. Because this question comes a lot, like so many times. So if I understand, I'm just gonna make sure I understand clearly. You mean if when you fail, what do you do? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
You keep going, Frank. You keep going. Do you remember at some point I asked you, I said you have to first answer the question, why am I doing what I want to do? Why? Remember I asked you, I asked you guys to think about 3 questions. Number 1, why do I want to do what I want to do? And why should anyone care anyway? Number 2, I said, how am I going to go about it? And the third question was, what am I looking for? The reason why I ask for why is because, we are emotional human beings, right? Human beings have a lot of emotions, okay, Frank? And anything that is close to your heart, you're going to run for it. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an example. The only reason why I fight so hard in other parts of my life is because I have kids, and I know if I'm not fighting hard enough, they're not going to have food tomorrow, or they're not going to have the knowledge that they need to know more, or it's something like that. I'm going to give you I don't know. It has to be close to your heart. Once you figure out why you're doing what you're doing, it's going to be, and that reason cannot be money. Please, guys, I have to bring this. Whatever you do, it cannot be money, because money doesn't move people. Okay, if you say I'm going to do this or that because I need to get rich, it's not going to work. Imagine, Frank, imagine that you go down the street with your parents and you see a kid that is maybe, let's say, 6 years old, and he's an orphan. Maybe his father is dead, his mother is dead. How are you going to feel about it? Just answer me that question. Answer right now and tell me how you're going to feel about this kid.
So I'm feeling right in my heart. It's like I'm really sad, and I
Exactly.
feel pretty sympathy to it.
Exactly. Because you're sad, imagine that it creates something in you, and you said, you know what? If I had the money right now, maybe I was going to build an orphanage. Maybe I was gonna have the right structure so that this kid could have a new home or whatever. That's just an example, okay? If you have that idea in your heart, just because it hurts you so much to see a kid struggling with no food, with no mom, no dad, that's the reason why I'm telling you, you're not going to give up. Even if people if you knock on this door and people say no, you're going to knock on that door. The other people are going to say no. I promise you, you can go back, and it's that the reason why you do it is going to keep you strong. And when people Frank, if you knock on 10,000 doors, okay, and people say no, and people say no all the time, trust me, I promise you, at some point, someone is going to say, oh my goodness, Frank believes in that so much. Maybe I should listen to him and see if I can do something with you. And that's how you recruit people to buy into your vision and work with you. That's the reason why I said at the beginning, you got to start by yourself, and you show the results that you have. And every time you come back and you show to the people already what you've been able to accomplish, and people are going to be like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I want to be a part of this movement. That's how you're going to grow. And that's how you're going to be able to recruit a few more people. People are going to be like, oh, maybe I can be a part of it. And even the people who were against you, or even the people who were like, I don't think Frank can do that. Trust me, once you start succeeding, they're going to turn around and they're going to come in and support you in your mission. And that's you. And listen to me, Frank. Don't ever give up, okay? Don't.
Okay.
Don't ever give up, okay?
Okay, so
that's good.
I think of a Chinese sentence that's very good, like 人心齐，泰山移, and we translate it into English when our hearts is like fall into a dream, and maybe we could move a mountain. We have a heart to keep it, to follow it, never forget it.
Yes, good.
Good. I think this is wonderful.
Wow.
We could have finished in a better way than the here. So Lucy, you are part of the family now. So I want to just thank you for the time. I know the energy that you put into this, and it shows. The student can feel your heart through this, and we do this because we believe in them, and we believe that we are doing our part. Yes. And to all the delegates that are here listening, again, when you find that why, again, some people call it the purpose, because when you have that why, it becomes the engine that will let you move on and not give up. Okay.
Yes.
So I want to thank you. And if we're going to turn over to them, but we just want, as a token of appreciation, Lizzie, you have a citation from us. You'll be collecting them
I
again
know.
and
Thank
again and
you.
again.
Oh my
But this is just a
goodness.
token of appreciation from us. Say, for all that hard work you are doing, thank you from the bottom of our heart. Okay.
My
So,
pleasure.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And like I say, you are part of the family, and there'll be other, opportunity whenever we see a student that will benefit from your expertise, from your knowledge. We'll definitely knock at the door, knowing that even if you have to knock 10,000 times, now they know.
It's called persistence, right? You
Yes,
gotta
I
be
will remind them.
persistent.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Rodrigo, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy, and also thank you so much, Ms. Lucy, for your incredible conference. I know that everybody here enjoyed it, and thank you so much. And we hope that we can have you in another opportunity again here in UNESCO Center for Peace. Thank you so much for that. And now, for keep going with our schedule, I'm gonna call Brenda. Brenda, are you there? For start with the cultural show.
Well, our first performance is Karen Neshati, and she's going to present a song named Waltz Number 2.
Hi, I'm Tanya Nishati from Iran, and I want to play Waltz Number 2.
Our second presentation is Shadok Cherokee with the song, sorry if I don't say the name correctly, Gogashe Setaragan.
Hello, I'm Sahdok Sahrafi from Iran. Senegal 5. Now I'm here to music from Homayun Quran for you.
Now we'll have Mia Moravis. I don't know if she's here. I think that she's not here, so Rodrigo.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. And now for keep going with our second conference, I'm gonna call my friend Andre to introduce our next speakers.
Thank you, Rodrigo. My name is Andrei Pankratov. I'm from Estonia, and I will be presiding over the committee UNESCO 1, and it's a huge honor to be here. And it's a great honor to present our next conference, which will be held by, I hope I'm pronouncing the names right, Ada Anamage and Amidat Momo, SDG3 Global Health Initiative Outreach Coordinator and Mission Trip Coordinator. SDG3 Global Health Initiative is a project affiliated with the UNESCO Center for Peace to promote good health and well-being sustainable development goal established by the United Nations. Let's welcome them with their conference about health risk behaviors among adolescents. Please welcome.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? All right, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And the musical interlude that we had before was very amazing and entertaining. A lot of talented people here for sure, I'm gonna say. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to present today. We really appreciate it. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Like Dr. Lucy said before, I'm also in the US, so it's currently a Monday night here, pretty cold in Ohio, but I'm really grateful to be given the opportunity to present to these wonderful individuals today. And I hope you guys, everyone gets to learn one or two things from what we say. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know if you can see it. 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so hello everybody. My name is Hamida Momo. Myself and Ada are going to be presenting about health risk behaviors among adolescents today. And just a little background information about me. I was born and raised in Edo State, Nigeria. I moved to United States, particularly Texas, after high school for college here. I got my associate degree from Austin Community College in Texas and my Bachelor of Science degree in biology from University of Texas at Austin. Currently, I'm living in Ohio, where I'm a third-year medical student at Kent State College of Podiatric Medicine. We focus on lower extremity deformities, diabetes, wound care, limb salvage, sports medicine, and everything that has to do with the foot and ankle. Ada is going to go ahead and introduce herself later on when she starts presenting, but please feel free to stop me or slow me down if I'm going too fast. I'm gonna go to the next slide. So just a quick definition. Like I said, we're gonna be talking about health risk in adolescents. So what is health risk? Health risk is any factor that raises your probability of getting any outcome. Huh? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. And delegates, please make sure to be muted while we are on conferences. You may continue, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Health risk is any factor that can raise your probability of adverse health outcome. And health risk behavior can be defined as any activity that you do with more intensity or more frequency that will increase your chances of getting any disease or injury that could potentially, be detrimental to your health or, just affect your well-being in general. So CDC has mentioned a couple of things that could be addressed as a common health risk behaviors that adolescents mostly engage in. The most common one is alcohol and other drug use, such as like tobacco or nicotine. Surprisingly, a lot of adolescents really drink a lot, even though there's an illegal age for drinking, but it's something that a lot of people participate in. And we're going to talk about that as we go further on as well. Unhealthy dietary behaviors is something that we are all guilty of. We eat a lot of junk foods. We like desserts. We like pizza. And so like eating all this stuff, sometimes particularly, it's not going to be good for you. Sometimes it makes us really tired, makes us groggy, kind of sluggish. So it's something that we're also going to address as well. Physical inactivity is a very common one right now, especially with the pandemic. Everything we're doing is mostly virtual. So it's something like, imagine combining no physical activity and also eating a lot of unhealthy food. It's just basically we go from our bed to our couch every day and just there's little to no activity at all. And so that could easily lead to like, childhood obesity or diabetes or just, unhealthy behaviors in general. Sometimes it can actually affect your mood as well. Other things we're going to talk about is sexual behaviors and other behaviors that can contribute to injuries and violence such as suicide. All right, so a little bit more about alcohol and drug use. Like I said, it's the most commonly used substances in the US and in other countries in general as well. A lot of the accidents that we see mostly nowadays is mostly caused by drunk drivers. So people drink and drive, which is one of the most common and risky thing that can ever happen to anybody. And different countries have their legal drinking age. I believe in the US it's 21 and older, and I think in China it's about 18. So wherever you are, please make sure that you know the actual age of drinking or the legal age of drinking in that country before you ever even think of participating in it. So surprisingly, 69% of students have had alcohol before, at least like in high school. And at least 42% of those people have also like reported getting drunk at some point. And then you ask people, why do people really drink? Or why do younger kids drink? Some people do it because of peer pressure. Like, you just want to try to fit in with your friends, hang out with the cool kids, or just feel like you want to belong to the group. And that's not good. Don't let anybody force you or pressure you to do something that you don't want to do, especially if you don't know what that to your health or something that you've never tried before. I would definitely recommend like it's not something that you should definitely partake in. Other people reported like boredom or just out of curiosity, you want to see what alcohol tastes like, or everybody's drinking it, you feel like you're missing out on it and you want to like participate in it. Some people do it out of fun because they feel like when you're in a different mood, you just like enjoy yourself more and have more fun. And honestly, it's not a recommendation for anybody. Like, even though you're around the drinking age or if you're younger than that, I would definitely recommend, like alcohol is everybody's worst enemy. So like try to stay out of that. But if you do find yourself in that situation, like you find yourself exposed to people who are drinking, it's really recommended that you know what the standard drink is. Like, don't feel like you're taking a glass of beer versus a glass of like vodka or Hennessy, and they're not going to be the same. You have to know what the alcohol content of everybody you're taking, like know what it contains. If you're going to take a glass of beer, for example, that's 5% alcohol versus Hennessy or vodka or another stronger one that's about 40%, like it's going to be really bad for you. And a lot of people end up suffering from alcohol poisoning. So what are some symptoms or signs and symptoms that could tell you that you have alcohol poisoning? The most important one is your inability to wake up in the morning, which a lot of people call being hangover. It's not a good experience. Some people they can't even wake up in the morning, like they can't even get out of bed. So like that's definitely something that people struggle with a lot. Vomiting is another common one. Sometimes you sleep in the wrong position when you're drunk and you can actually end up choking on your vomit, which some people end up having like irregular breathing or slow breathing problems that could affect them as well. A lot of people also complain about seizure or hypothermia. So like all of these things are things that you can suffer from if you engage in alcohol and not knowing how to control your limit or other stuff. But we're going to talk more about like who to reach out to and how to get help if you ever find yourself in these situations. Another common one is unhealthy behaviors. Like I said, a lot of these food that we eat will lead to obesity, or it can lead to diabetes, which can also further cause like other effects on us, such as like heart disease, cancer, or stroke, which are like one of the leading causes of deaths everywhere around now. They had a study on CBC that was talking about like, just a study about high school students, like how many people actually eat vegetables or fruits or like, just something healthy in general. Only 20% of people actually report like eating enough vegetables in a week. And that's surprisingly really not good, because like sometimes the things you eat is what's going to affect your activity for the rest of the day. You want to eat something that's healthy. You want to eat something that will make you more active or more energetic. Even though a lot of people feel like, eating sugar makes you active, but it's a really short acting energetic thing that you feel like you have energy from sugar, but it doesn't last as long compared to when you eat like actual protein or like real vegetables. So we have a chart over here that tells you, what your healthy plate should look like. You want to get a little bit of fruits, some grains, vegetables, or protein. And, some things like, vegetables, just lettuce, carrots, avocado, things like that. And, fruits, apples, grains, just make sure you're getting like your oatmeals, rice, and some protein as well. That's really helpful. And, it'll go a long way, because the earlier you start developing this habit, the better for you in the long term, as far as like how to balance your meal properly. Another thing that I know that a lot of people, even myself, also struggle with when I was younger is self-esteem. It's like sometimes you feel like, oh, you're probably dealing with a lot of weight loss or weight gain, and you kind of, you feel like you don't look good compared to your peers. Like you feel like, oh, I could look better, which a lot of people struggle from after eating unhealthy food. You start struggling with weight gain, and people, like starve themselves, or like some people engage in this habit where they eat some food and then they throw up afterwards just to make themselves feel better. That's not the way to lose weight. If you ever feel like you are in that situation, please reach out to anybody. They have a lot of like dietitian, or like, just medical practitioners in general that can help you go about with these activities. So don't feel like you have to be very skinny at some certain age. Like, love yourself the way you are. And if you ever need help with anything, make sure to reach out to the right people. And that also applies to people who are trying to gain weight as well. Don't feel like you have to suddenly eat all the sugar and sweet and cheese in the world because you want to gain weight and look like your friend. Like, that's not the best way at all. So I'm going to pass it on to her dad, whether she's going to talk about more physical activities that you can engage in and who you should reach out to if you ever find yourself in these situations.
Thank you very much, Hamida, for that wonderful presentation. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. My name is Ada Adezeyanamege, and I am also from Nigeria, but I've lived in the US for about 7 years now. I came here in 2013 for my bachelor's degree in health sciences, after which I moved on to get my master's in global health from Georgetown University here in Washington, DC. Most of my interests are in public health research, from things ranging to, from HIV and AIDS to, infectious diseases in general. So that's just a little bit about me. So again, feel free to ask questions as I move along, or stop me if I'm going too fast. So let's dive right back into the presentation. Physical inactivity is one of the health risk behaviors that Hamida just listed. But what is physical inactivity? It also can be called sedentary lifestyle. And sedentary lifestyle or physical inactivity, as the name implies, means you're physically inactive. You're not working out. With the whole COVID-19 pandemic going on, people are indoors. You take a shower in the morning, you eat, and then you sleep, and you just don't do any physical activity. That can be very detrimental to the health, for the simple fact that it's a risk factor for so many diseases, ranging from cardiovascular diseases such as myocardial infarction, or what most of you might know as a heart attack, and also non-communicable diseases like cancer and other non-communicable diseases, like diabetes, for which obesity is a risk factor for. So what are some WHO and United States 2018 guidelines? Those recommendations have shown or have said that adolescents should partake in physical activity of at least 60 minutes a day, which is an hour, of like vigorous to moderate type of exercises. But we know that worldwide, not many teenagers or adolescents are compliant to these recommendations. So I decided to put this graph up here. Many of you might not understand what's going on, but I'm going to explain. So this graph shows the prevalence, and prevalence is a proportion of a disease or something. In this situation, it's physical inactivity. It's the proportion of physical inactivity over a given period of time. In our graph, it shows the proportion of physical inactivity between boys and girls of school-going age between 2001 and 2016. So when you look at this graph for the very first time, what pops out? You can see that the pink bars, which represents the girls, tends to be a little bit higher than the blue bars. And that basically means that girls, the prevalence of physical inactivity among girls is higher. And that translates to the simple fact that girls don't work out as much as boys. And that's something that we're seeing. A lot of people say that it's kind of a normal, should I say, stereotype. But another reason I like this graph is that it shows the trend across different socio-demographic regions of the world. So by that, I mean low-income regions of the world, like Asia, some Asian Pacific countries, and some parts of sub-Saharan Africa as well. And if you look at that global bar to the very left, you see, for example, that boys in 2001, where the prevalence was 80% versus 2016, that reduced. So meaning that boys are becoming more physically active. And there's so many factors we can, talk about, like, for example, there are sports clubs for boys, sports magazines, there are sport game channels and things of that sort. So when we look and compare between the socio-demographic regions of the world, we notice that low-income regions tend to have a higher prevalence compared to high-income regions. And again, so many factors that contribute to this. For example, one of them is in low-income regions of the world, there just isn't enough access to some of the equipment that you might use in, wherever you're from. So that's definitely a huge contributor. Next slide, please. Just click there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thank you. So let's move on to sexual behaviors. And just to note, behaviors in general, whether they are positive or negative, might lead to either a positive or negative health outcome. So sexual behaviors such as having premarital sex, that's having sex before marriage, or having multiple sexual partners, or having unprotected or what you might know as unsafe sex, might lead to unintended pregnancies in the girls and unsafe abortions, which might lead to death if care is not taken. And also, it might lead to negative health outcomes such as sexually transmitted diseases and sexually transmitted infections. And for the sake of my audience, I'd like to clarify the difference between the both of them. A sexually transmitted infection is kind of that early stage, when two people get together to have sexual intercourse and they're not practicing safe sex, then one of them, if for example, one of them has some infection, they might transfer it to the other person. And if that is left undetected, or for example, if it's not detected early enough and on time, and if it's not, even if it's detected and it's not treated, then that might gradually progress into an STD. So statistics have shown that 1 in every 4 sexually active young female will have at least one STI in their lifetime before they turn 25. So you can see that that's a kind of a very crazy number, 1 in 4. So we need to make sure that we're doing things to avoid these negative health outcomes. So what are some of the behaviors that we're seeing today that contribute to these negative health outcomes? Also, should I say factors? For example, a factor could be socio-demographic, so where the person lives, if the person is financially stable, if for adolescents, if they're in school. Another one we're seeing today, for example, would be adolescents whose parents have been separated. So we hear a lot of stories today where children are left on the streets to fend for themselves because they're no longer at home. So because they don't have guidance from an elderly person, they don't have guidance from a mentor, for example, they might engage in these negative behaviors. Next slide, please. So, and then lastly, the CDC mentions behaviors that contribute to unintentional injuries and violence. So I decided to put this picture together, or these pictures together, just to, walk you through my narrative. So on the upper right left corner, you see a young lady who's texting while she's driving. And you see that if you watch closely, she's about to hit a woman who's crossing the road with her child. So this is to say that sometimes we need to consider that some of the behaviors that we engage in might not necessarily affect us. They might negatively impact other people as well. So we need to have other people's interests at heart. In the middle picture there's a young guy riding a bicycle. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we see that he's not wearing a helmet. So there's the possibility that he might get into an accident. For example, he might fall into a ditch. And if he cracks his skull, he might get into a lifelong disability. On the lower left corner is a young lady who's driving. She's not putting on her seatbelt. Again, same narrative, she might get into an accident. And then in the middle there, we see a more common one that looks like a bunch of teenagers who are fighting. We hear a lot of stories about people getting bullied in school and getting hit and punched in so many places. Again, we want to try to avoid being in those kinds of scenarios so that we can lead healthier lives. And then on the far right is a more common one that we see today. People thinking about, adolescents thinking about indulging in, what's it called? Indulging in, sorry, I'm blacking out.
Maybe I think, you know, that the big picture is like suicide or something like that.
Suicide, thank you. I am totally blacking out, but thank you very much. Yes, so that is another way, you know, people thinking about how they can hurt themselves. Next slide, please. So what are some interventions and strategies that organizations have set aside to help us address some of these situations? So for example, sexual and reproductive health, we're seeing in schools are incorporating sexual education into their curriculum, which is really good. There are also interventions to modify sexual risk behaviors. For example, I know that there are so many clinics, for example, you go to here in the US and you see condoms lying around. So that's kind of an incentive for, you know, people to pick one if they go, if they need it, you know. But we need to understand that sometimes some of the interventions that we create might not be cannot be applied to certain contexts or certain regions of the world. So we as public health professionals try as much as possible when trying to implement programs to tailor it to specific countries, you know, specific places around the world. So going down the list, just going to talk about some of the ones we've talked about today. Substance abuse, for example, there are also programs out there to admonish teenagers and adolescents alike to desist from tobacco and smoking, as that can damage the lungs. So what are some delivery platforms? How can these interventions be implemented? So we see a lot of school-based programs, again, like I talked about, incorporating that into physical PE or physical education, information and communication technology for health or mobile health. And then we see youth empowerment and ownership. And a very important one I want to mention today is social media. And because of my audience, I think that this social media is actually a very huge platform that I think can be effective in implementing some of these interventions. A lot of adolescents worldwide have phones, tablets, laptops, you name it. I think that because they have that, we as public health professionals try as much as possible to push programs through social media. So that's a really good thing. So some positive outcomes that we're seeing, increased immunization coverage, improved health status, increased positive pregnancy and birth outcomes for the ladies, and a general, you know, longer life, increased longevity, and reduced morbidity and mortality from some of the things that we've talked about today. So what does that lead to? It leads to a general better adult life, increased work productivity, economic growth, and national progress. Next slide, please. So some intervention strategies, again, I like this model because it is a multi-component model. So it doesn't necessarily single out the school portion or the family portion. This is everyone coming together to make this work. So families are creating active spaces, for example, in their homes, building backyards, building swings in their backyards. Here, for example, in the US, I know a lot of families have basketball courts where that helps encourage the younger ones to come out and play. Schools, again, like I said, incorporating into curriculum, which is really good. But I personally believe, and I'm sure this is the same narrative for so many people out there, that it's not just enough to teach a child to say, hey, you know, you do this, you do that, without showing them how to do it. So I think the practical aspect of it is actually really necessary. So while schools have incorporated it into the curriculum, I think it's important for teachers to actually take the children out there to the field to play a game of soccer, lawn tennis, or whatever. We also talk about the built-in environment. We're constantly reaching out to the government to implement or to build in infrastructure, you know, swings, parks, bicycle lanes, and things of that sort to encourage people as well. And then in terms of education / motivation, I know a lot of younger people have mentors that they look up to. An elderly person, it could be a leader of some sort, it could be a celebrity, a basketball player, musician. If we are able to identify these people, we can use them as a channel to reach these adolescents. Next slide, please. So these are some examples in picture form. So this is Luongo, Zambia in Africa. The upper region there, I love this picture, it's really beautiful. These are just children about to play a game of soccer or football, like it's commonly called back home. At the lower level there, we see a teacher basically walking them through how they're going to go about it. So again, the presence of a mentor can be a huge contributor to whether or not they will participate in these things. And then on the lower right corner there, that's a bunch of children. I think that's called sack race. I remember playing this in high school, and it was really, really good because it increased my heart health in general. Yes, so next slide, please. And then on the left, this is Shenzhen in China. This is a park. And this is a park with infrastructure, again, built-in environment. That's the importance. You see a lot of people coming from work, coming from school, and they're there, they're working out. Now, when just take, for example, a group of teenagers going through or walking through this park, and they see this bright, beautiful orange pole with this funny looking yellow handles, and teens are generally inquisitive. They really want to know, what does this do? So I think that's a good strategy. You know, when they get on it and they see what it does, they're more likely to come back. So that's a really good strategy there being implemented. And then on the right, where we have two brothers, this is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, here in the US. They're playing a game of basketball at their backyard. Again, this is not even an actual basketball. This is not a real basketball court. This is not a real net, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is that they're clocking in their physical activity hours, which is really good. Next slide, please. And then finally here, this is Northern Nigeria. This is a community health worker talking to a group of young teenage girls about sexual and reproductive health. Again, the importance of community, people coming together to talk to these people, because majority of them don't know, majority of them are not privy to the information. They live in remote areas where this information is not readily available to them. So community workers and community engaging in community outreach is also a very important strategy to use. Next slide, please. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening to us today. Again, we are SDG 3 Global Health Initiatives, affiliates of UNESCO Center for Peace. Some of what we do, we create health awareness like what we're currently doing now. We engage in youth training for youth empowerment, and then medical mission and community outreach. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we haven't been able to do a lot of those, but we plan in the future to engage in those as well. So please feel free to reach out to us on our social media handles and email us at sdg3globalhealth@gmail.com if you ever have any questions. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ada and Hamida, for your conference. Now we're gonna have, well, we don't have too much time, but we have time for a couple of questions. So please, anybody who wanna make a question, raise your hand in the Zoom settings, and so we can give you the floor for make a question. Dr. Roy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I actually have two screens because I represent Authors Club Worldwide and International Art Act. So that's why I'm physically present in one screen. I think this is a fantastic approach. I am stunned by this collaboration of Hamida and Ada with two age groups putting up together in one presentation where you are actually addressing an issue which is traveling every corner of this world, which is affecting every corner of this age group. And it is just not the adolescents, it is in fact impacting the age group which I represent. I do find I'm a FRCS medical doctor also, though I practice art. But I do interact with medical friends, fraternity friends, and they do say that there are many cases which clubs the two age groups. And I will like to salute for this fabulous presentation. And I must put up a proposal to my brother, mentor, the chairman of the UNESCO Commission and the executive director of UNESCO Center for Peace, Guy Joquin, that Guy, if we can take this particular this on, of course, the previous one, because Lucy belongs to our family too. So we share Lucy actually. But this one is definitely for sure, if we can take this presentation to all across the world in different other format of dialogue presentation to African countries, to Asian countries, it is going to definitely help us. And there's no question actually, because you have left no corner untouched. Other and Hamida, both of you, you have done a fantastic presentation, and hats off.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Definitely, we are here to help. We are here to spread a message across the globe, and I'm sure that it will be very easy for us to kind of put the SDG3 team in touch with you. I think this message is a lot. Anything we do to save a life is worth doing, and that's why I want to see this opportunity to thank both of you, Amidad and Ada, for this amazing presentation. I don't know if there's any student that has one question before we turn over, but do you have any, Rodrigo, you have any question from a student?
Yes, we have time for one more.
Okay.
Jasmine Jung.
Okay, Jasmine.
Hello. So, what are the main factors that influence teenagers' mental health? I'm very curious about this question.
Can you introduce yourself, please? I know from China. What age? Introduce yourself, please. Very quick.
Yeah, I'm from China and I'm 21.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't know, Hamida, if you want to go, I can go.
Okay, I can start, then you just continue.
Okay.
One of the main factors that affects teenagers' mental health that I think a lot of people struggle with, and even myself, I struggle with, like I said in the presentation, was self-esteem. The struggle to always fit into a particular group, the struggle to always belong and be with the group of friends that you feel like those are the people that are cooler in school, or those are the people that are more popular. That, and then like for example, maybe they end up not getting along with you, and that's something that really affects you, because then you start to feel like there's something about you that's not making you fit in with them. It's maybe how you look, it's maybe how you're shaped, or how you sound, or what your grades are like, or so like that's something that really starts to affect your mental health, because after all of this thinking that you have in your head, you will always constantly start to feel like you are not good enough for these people. You're never going to be good enough for them. And it's not you. And if anybody is struggling with that, because I did struggle with that too when I was younger, just want you to know that you should love yourself regardless. And the right people will love you for who you are. This, my famous quote is, be you, the word, end of the day, just be yourself. The right people will fit in with you. The right people, you get along with those people. And so don't let like your inability to not being with the right people, or inability to have the friends that you think should be your friends, don't let that affect you. Don't let that be a factor, because that's going to get you thinking a lot. And every time you always feel like, oh, it's something that has to do with you. but it's not. So I think that's one of the major things that affects teenagers' mental health.
Definitely well said, Hamida. And I honestly, there's almost nothing to add. And I guess I'd like to reiterate the fact that, again, many adolescents, for example, those living with their parents or a guardian, we're seeing stories where adolescents go through anxiety, depression also, but they're unable to talk. They're unable to talk because they feel they're going to be looked down upon. We make this, I don't know if it's a joke, but it's kind of a thing that in Africa where we say depression doesn't exist. Those things don't exist, but they really do. And so it's kind of pushing, saying those kinds of things that makes people, indulge in really risky behaviors. So I would say we also need to cultivate the habit of listening if there's an opportunity to, and also offering advice and pointing people to resources as needed.
Okay, thank you very much. Rodrigo, do you have a citation? But before saying that, I think I will just summarize the last answer by peer pressure and self-esteem. There's a peer pressure that make us want to make people do things that they would never believe they could do if they were there by themselves. And the self-esteem, and like both speakers are saying, you have to love yourself. Okay, I know it's easier said than done. Maybe down the road, I'm saying that because I used to, for the last 10, 15 years, I've been going to China on average minimum 6 times a year. Because and I know the challenge of peer pressure, just like we stated in Africa, they have a serious issue over there. There's no single time where I went there without hearing about a student that either were attempting to take their lives or took their lives. Is something that's very recurring. So you are touching them in something that's very, very real, not just in the US, but also across the globe. And that's why Dr. Roy, my brother, was stating that he wanted to steal you away from us, but we all can borrow you to them, but we're not going to let them steal you from us, okay? Okay, good. So, yeah, as a token of appreciation, we want to present you, Ada, this citation to say thank you. And you,
Thank you.
yes,
So much.
Hamidat, so say thank you for your selfless for taking the time to really educate the next generation of leaders, even though they are leaders today. We all know that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, good. Okay, so my part is finished. I'm turning over to the real leaders. Rodrigo, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy, and also thank you, Hamidat and Nada, for your amazing conference. Right now, we are on time for go to the immune sessions, but really fast, we have one more performance for the cultural show. So, Brenda, are you there?
Yes, the performance is of Anki Bu. She is going to interpret Happy Chinese New Year with the flute. So hope you like. Rodrigo.
Thank you, Brenda. And also, Guy, I don't know if you want to add something.
No, I just want to seize this opportunity to thank all the presenters, BC, and the SGD3 team. I saw someone was asking what's SGD. We only have 9 years left for the international community to achieve the SDG. So it's very important now that every single participant knows about the SDGs. Take on, so I would like all the facilitators, all the chairs, to really insist on the SDGs during the conference, okay? So thank you for all of you, and I'm so proud of the team that we have. Congratulations again, and I look forward to, again, reading hopefully, how are they doing trying to come out with some resolutions? Are they working? How's that improving?
Perfect, Guy. Thank you so much for your words. Now, dear delegates, it's time for the model join session. Please check your email. There you will find the link for your committees. I know that yesterday we have some problem with some committees because they have the wrong link, but keep refreshing your email. If you go right now, you'll find them. So good luck in your committee session. Have a great time at Model Join and make an excellent resolution. Bye-bye.
Yes, we are waiting for that.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.